our goal is to have 100%, and we're not there. I'm not sure if we'll ever get there.
Oskaloosa School Superintendent says student standardized test scores are unacceptable. Find out why the district is on a state watch list and what faculty is doing to fix the problem.
William Penn University is trying to raise millions of dollars for its stadium project as well as its science department. We'll learn about Penn's most ambitious fundraising campaign ever.
And a weekend fight sent one William Penn football player to the hospital with possible season-ending injuries. We'll hear more from the Oskaloosa Police Department. These stories and more tonight on the CRI Weekly News for September 24th, 2010.
Bringing you local coverage of Oskaloosa and Mahaska County. This is CRI Weekly News.
In continuing school news, many Oskaloosa school students did not meet the most recent benchmarks set by the No Child Left Behind Act.
The nationwide education reform initiative sets standardized test performance goals in reading and math, and each year those standards are set higher.
Also, student scores are divided into several groups, including special needs students and students who qualify for the free and reduced lunch program. These two groups, which make up about half of the Oski student body, have missed benchmarks at all three schools, the elementary, the middle school, and the high school. Last year, the No Child Left Behind proficiency standards for reading was 76%. At that time, 57% of special needs students at the elementary school met that standard. The number of free and reduced lunch students missed the national standard by 4%. Math scores for these two groups also didn't meet NCLB standards, so for the first time, the elementary school is on a state watch list.
Since the elementary is a title building and there's federal dollars attached to that, if we would be on the watch list for 3 years in a row, we would become a school in need of assistance. At that time, you might have AEA personnel backed by state, by the Iowa Department of Education, may come in and do an audit of your programs and services and determine what are you doing.
One of the things the elementary building is doing this year is the Positive Behavior Instruction and Support Program, PBIS for short. The point of PBIS is to improve student behavior, reduce classroom disruption, and ultimately improve student performance.
We've got to continue to move forward as far as academically and behaviorally, and we think PBIS will give us behavioral structure, which will improve our overall academic achievement.
Standardized test scores at the middle school were also below federal benchmarks. School principal Andy Hotak says his school is in the second year of a new program that focuses on improving student reading and comprehension skills. In addition to any other English class a student might have each day while in their homeroom, every student spends 30 minutes in what the school calls a literacy skinny. No matter what the course their homeroom teacher instructs, the focus is on reading. In 2008, summer flooding in Mahaska County threatened Oskaloosa's Highway 63 water plant. Because of those high waters, plant manager Chad Kuhn set in motion a multi-million-dollar project that would renovate the aging facility, better protecting it from flooding. What Kuhn couldn't realize at the time was that his proactive response would give him just enough time to protect the plant and Oskaloosa's drinking water from the worst flooding he's ever seen. Once a month, Chad Kuhn calibrates instruments that measure water clarity during each stage of the filtering process.
This is filter 1, this is filter 2.
And this is finished water.
While Kuhn and Elwood Hanna work, just below their knees is a reminder of how high the Skunk River, more than 100 yards away, can get. It's a water line 18 inches high in the plant's ground-level basement. Really, though, Kuhn doesn't need a reminder. He'll never forget what life was like 2 weeks ago.
It was the worst flooding we've ever seen.
The South Skunk River reached a record-setting 25.8 feet in 1944. On August 16, 2010, its crest was 26.4 feet, more than 6 feet above flood stage. The South Skunk breached the water department's levee, causing some minor damage. But more visibly nerve-wracking was how close the water was getting to motors operating the city's freshwater pumps. Also, the old electrical shed was swamped. Even more proof for Kuhn how crucial a $5 million plant upgrade was.
Getting that new electrical building up and building the levee up and putting it at that height saved us.
In other words, if Kuhn hadn't kick-started renovations 18 months ago, more than 10,000 people would be drinking bottled water right now.
It was, again, it was good money spent, and it did its job. It kept us dry, it kept us out of the water.
Even with his department's proven resilience, Kuhn would appreciate some breathing room now. He'd like to finally finish upgrading his century-old water plant. As far as he's concerned, the water line on the wall can just fade away in time. He doesn't need any more reminders that his job lives and dies by the water's edge.
Hopefully it'll dry out a little bit here that we've seen the last high mark of water out here for quite a while.
Kuhn says flood damage to his plant was more than $1,000, making him eligible to apply for FEMA assistance. Kuhn adds by next week he'll be doing a walkthrough at the plant with contractors to review all the work that's been done up till now. In the event of a disaster, most small towns have to rely on aid from surrounding communities as well as from the state. The more capable volunteers a town can rely on, the better it can respond with things like first aid and rescue. That's why Jamie Robinson with Mahaska County Emergency Management and local fire and police departments have teamed up with North Mahaska High School in New Sharon to help train willing students in several areas of disaster response. The situations depicted in this next story are only part of a simulation.
Looks like the storm's pretty much passed over New Sharon now. We need to go ahead and continue rescue operations.
Okay, we have a rolled over semi on 163rd Street on Highway 63.
So we need to go clear the group and get everyone out there.
At this point in time, there is search and rescue that's going on in the New Sharon area.
The hazard on the sign says 104. We have white billowing smoke from the trailers.
Your fire chief needs to make sure that you're communicating back to incident command that the fire is out.
Still going.
If there was a disaster to hit New Sharon, there's not enough people on the fire department. Fire departments could come from Oski, but there's still not enough people. There's more people than accountable in New Sharon. The CERT team could come in and help and just take one section of the community, and
they're going to have to help. I'm the only EMT out there, and there's a very few people trained in first aid, so I will be there unless I'm hurt. And then they will have to take over until one of the professionals get out there. You know, if someone's real seriously hurt, maybe is not breathing, these kids are now taught to leave that person and go on to the next person and to serve as many people they can get out of a crisis, out of a disaster. So they had a hard time thinking about that.
Yeah, if it's bad enough and the conditions get worse, then we need as many humane operations as possible, but not always will we get them. We have to establish barricades in these areas. We have to try and find a loading dock for the deceased.
Which areas do you need to establish barricades? I might be able to help you on that.
What we see in front of us here is actual great American volunteerism. Okay. Individuals that are willing to step up to the plate when there's a crisis that goes on, take some training that you've had, take the initiative to go above and beyond just standing back and saying, oh my gosh, this is happening.
Hopefully what we're looking at doing is keeping this training going. So in the long run, every year they're going to learn something new, something more towards the disaster response or the medical response, and just to be able to help our resources in the county as an add-on resource.
Please don't step on it. 1, 2, 3, drop them. Strap them.
Jamie Robinson says the CERT training is being funded by Iowa Homeland Security and the Area Health Education Center at Indian Hills Community College in Ottumwa, Iowa.